October 2019, a monumental time in Ecuador's history. The austerity measures, especially removal of diesel subsidies, was being met with a lot of violence. The mainland had been completely taken over by protesters. To be safe for the next 24 hours, I took a flight to the capital of Galapagos, San Cristobal, to view some of the IEEE work going on there.
Hello, long time no see. Nice to finally meet you.
I was met by my charming host, David Lansdale. David is the IEEE Smart Village Education Chair and the founder of the Beyond Chacay Foundation. He has been heading all the IEEE Smart Village and IEEE HEC work in Galapagos, along with Dr. Pali Singh from Villanova University. He spoke more about their work to me.
With a very dear friend who actually I've only met 3 years ago, Pali Singh, a professor at Villanova. We had a chance to get together and talk a little bit about how we can invest more in the young people. And he and I agreed that one of the ways to do that was through technology. And in the last 3 years, we've been working with the wonderful collaboration of IEEE, the Humanitarian Affairs Committee, with SITE, and also with ISV, the Smart Village arm of IEEE, to invest in the creation of an intranet.
I also asked David about his thoughts on the ongoing violence.
There's never been this kind of violence. People throwing rocks, people destroying public property. I heard recently, and it was really troubling, that somebody throwing rocks at an ambulance, and the ambulance couldn't get to pick up a person, and that person died.
David showed me a solar plus battery install at a school. This solar project was done by people at Villanova University.
Galapagos, the electrical company, he's come in and rewired the panels.
A student?
A student.
Wow.
With his dad, and what they're looking for is to show you where the batteries are kept. The batteries are all shot.
What do you mean batteries are all shot?
They're corroded.
This is a grim reminder of how sustainability plans are absolutely vital in projects. David took me to the second school on the island. In this school, IEEE Smart Village has created a computer classroom, and IEEE HEC has provided the last mile intranet connectivity. Dr. Pali Singh talks about this work.
We started with a pilot project in San Cristobal, connecting the schools together and over an intranet. So an intranet is a private network that is providing services to the 5 schools that we connected there. And it's you can think of it as a digital library. And so we have servers where we have some educational resources, we have a calendar, we have a blog post available. And so on that intranet, the individual schools can get access to information, or they can upload their own information.
IEEE HEC funded the project in San Cristobal in 2018 and in Santa Cruz in 2019. But elsewhere in the islands, with no internet or computers at home or at school, access to information is challenging for the students. Only 30% of the students in this school even carry a smartphone. With COVID, that situation has become even worse, as the children cannot attend online classes without internet or computers at home. Thus, during COVID, IEEE HEC funded a digital literacy program for the islands, and some folks involved spoke to me about it recently over Zoom.
The program is in response to the COVID-19 situation, which has really amplified and demonstrated the digital divide for students on the Galapagos Islands who have very limited connectivity to the internet and are therefore generally digitally not as literate as people in other communities around the world.
The digital literacy program was some classes that we prepare for kids in the Galapagos Island. They were more like a tutor and with his mentees. It was groups of 3 to 4 people maximum, so they can have a better approach between them.
What I like the most about this program is that all the mentors and the organizers were spread all over the world. We were working from Sweden, the US, Canada, Ecuador, and we had the same goal, which is to help the Galapagos youth.
Lack of infrastructure is not the only issue in Galapagos. Opportunities for the youth of the island is also limited. The new mayor, I'm told, is popular, and he has a lot of amazing ideas for where Galapagos needs to go.
Nosotros como gobierno autónomos, Medi dice, nosotros invertimos en lo que es aceras, bordillos, construcciones de cemento, pero nos descuidamos de la parte más fundamental que es la educación.
I also met with a foundation created by some teachers.
Fundación aquí en Cristóbal. Esta fundación se llama Fundación Educación, Cultura y Conservación Galapagos.
It becomes very clear that tourism is probably the only source of income for many youngsters.
Continuar sus estudios universitarios.
They want to go on to university, but they don't have the resources.
Primero, porque en Cristóbal no hay universidades.
No university in
No hay
Cristobal.
universidades estatales.
There is no state university here.
Yeah.
Hay una universidad, la San Francisco,
There's a private university
una
where they used to
universidad
teach.
privada y muy cara.
Very expensive.
A trabajar en el barco, a desembarcar
They work on boats.
como obreros en el municipio, algunos incluso recogiendo la basura,
Cruise.
Getting garbage.
otros chicos a la pesca,
Others
Fishermen.
un pequeño grupo que logra trabajar como servidores públicos en el Consejo de Gobierno
As
o en el
public
municipio, en alguna institución del Estado,
Government council.
¿sí? Y les entregan la credencial para que puedan guiar.
And the National Park gives them a course so that they can become guides.
¿Ya?
However, the bigger issue here is that they have to compete with mainland Ecuadorians for these jobs.
The second big problem in Galapagos is immigration. And we bring people with better education, with better qualification to Galapagos. And what happened with the local people? They don't have chance, they don't speak English, they don't have abilities.
The foundation member wanted to send this message to the world through us.
A nombre de la isla San Cristóbal, Galápagos, quiero darles la bienvenida y a la comunidad internacional pedirles el apoyo para la educación de los bachilleres de la isla. Quisiera que nos apoyen para que estos jóvenes continúen estudiando. Necesitamos de usted y de su apoyo. Gracias.
Though tourism is the main employment and income opportunity for many locals, it comes with its own set of issues. It takes away from the islands more than it gives. Tourism has been growing at almost 5% plus year on year in Galapagos, with almost 250,000 people coming to the islands last year.
To reduce people come to Galapagos. This is for us is a very big problem because we don't have enough water, we don't have enough energy, and every time it's coming more people, for us is more impact in the flora and fauna.
The tourism is mostly via cruise ships, although island hopping is also becoming popular. Tourists take a flight to Galapagos. They land and go straight to the tourist cruise ships parked in the ports. Thus, the locals don't really benefit from tourists coming, except for the $100 per person fee the government charges when someone lands in the Galapagos.
we have a very big problem because we have a very big touristic enterprise, and they don't stay in the population here, in local place. So they don't spend in our restaurants, in our shops. So this is very complicated for us because they bring the garbage when they are coming in the port, and they come and leave the garbage. And this is our responsibility for the local alcalde.
Thus, neither the cruise ship model nor the island hopping model are really sustainable. David tells me how tourists don't even realize sometimes that the islands are inhabited.
Have you had any contact with any of the residents who live on the different islands you visited? And they're looking like, what residents? What people?
Teaching sustainability to the locals is also a challenge.
Local people, it's not possible to go to this kind of trips because it's very expensive. A lot of people of Galapagos don't know these kinds of itinerary or these places. A long time before was very, very difficult to know Santa Fe or Fernandina, Isabela Islands. It's not easy for local people, and when you don't know where you are protecting or where are you taking care, you don't have the support of people. So the people must know what they are protecting.
The mayor and his wife run a restaurant right where the ships dock. Perhaps a few tourists might be venturing out to their restaurant to eat island food. One lady I met had this to tell about how important it is to educate the tourists.
In the day, it's not a ecological conscience, but it's the base of the economy, and it has to be we have to make some laws, I don't know how to say, but that refuel the impact that they make into the island, into the environment in general, because they really contaminate a lot. Is getting now site tourists, because before for what I know, because I'm not from here, is that they just came from the cruises
del Valle de Rumiñahui.
Entonces, el valle come to here
Valle de Cumbayá,
go
Valle
to
de
see
los
1, 2,
Chinos.
3 things, and they come back to the
sureste
water tourism.
de la capital de
Okay, but now we are, well, I say we because we love Galapagos and
Es
also the island in special.
Cruza de valle a valle, o sea, es
we're covering
del valle
the
de
value
Cumbayá,
of the
de
island.
Intervalles llega al Valle de Rumiñahui.
The animals,
Entonces, el Valle de Rumiñahui era el
to
granero.
teach the tourists
Sí, eso ya
what
es
is
Valle de los
the
Chinos,
value
Valle de
to be
Rumiñahui.
here,
Ahí vivimos.
to be in this floor, because it's something that you are not gonna see anywhere.
COVID has meant new challenges with tourism down to zero. However, going back to how things were with the tourism industry pre-COVID is not an option. David also took me on a tour of the power plant on the island.
Okay.
30% of the energy on the islands currently comes from renewable energy, and this needs to be increased. The energy for the tourist ships and the islands comes mainly from diesel, a non-sustainable fuel for Galapagos, both environmentally and financially. Diesel is still their main source of fuel for electricity, with the fumes literally blowing into the national park. The mayor is also concerned about fossil fuels.
Por ejemplo, tenemos los combustibles fósiles que están haciendo un daño total a Galápagos. Entonces, queremos apuntar allá, llegar con productos amigables al medio ambiente. Ese es nuestro objetivo.
Not only does diesel give harmful greenhouse gas emissions to the islands, diesel spills, such as the recent one in 2019, have shown how dangerous diesel can be for the delicate balance of flora and fauna on the islands. On the other hand, diesel has become a political issue in the country. These unprecedented protests have shown that people cannot afford gasoline unless attached to subsidies. And the subsidies are only worsening the debt and deficit situation of the government. It is very important from both a long-term environmental sustainability point of view as well as financial sustainability to have the islands move to better forms of energy like solar, batteries, biogas, biofuel, and hydrogen. A visit to Galapagos, the island's electric utility, tells me that the talks of integrating solar, especially even rooftop solar, are many. But stability issues need to be taken into account because instability can come with integrating high amounts of solar, especially in low inertial systems like island systems. The islands do have a microgrid on Isabella Island, the largest island in the Galapagos, but it includes a diesel generator, a fuel the islands should consider moving off of if they are serious about sustainability. The islands have integrated wind into their system, but Mr. Juan Carlos Lopez tells me that the winds blow in the wintertime when there is no air conditioning load, which is the biggest load on their system in the summer. Hence, it is tricky to bank on just wind or solar for their system. COVID has brought its own interesting challenges and opportunities for the Galapagos Islands. Tourism is the main lifeline here. However, 90% of its economy has been affected by COVID outbreaks, both abroad and on 3 of its 4 populated islands.
Para Galápagos es un momento súper duro en este momento porque nuestra economía depende en un 90% del turismo y el coronavirus nos frenó totalmente durante 3 meses, 4 meses. No hubo un pasajero, realmente un turista que ingresara porque tuvimos bloqueados los aeropuertos y los puertos.
The islands are not equipped to handle COVID outbreaks. But this adversity also brings in some good news. The wildlife are returning. The people are rediscovering themselves and reassessing what their future should be.
Last in COVID, we saw here in San Cristobal, in Santa Cruz, very near dolphins, sharks, whales that never before when I was a child I saw so near.
Should the islands go back to their pre-COVID days in terms of tourism? What about opportunities for the local people? What about the energy situation in the Galapagos? And how do we protect the islands from COVID, yet balance tourism? And most importantly, how do we balance all this while protecting and saving the flora and fauna?
A long time ago, the investment is in focus in only in the nature, but they forgot the people. We need to improve, we need to invest in people. We need to bring a few about people who can really want to know what very important is for nature for Galapagos, wants to learn about Galapagos, because it's a very wonderful place to learn. In my life, only I need something to eat. I can plant some in my piece of land, and I need education, and I'm happy. So to be happy, you don't need too much. COVID bring us difficult times, but also peace for the fauna and flora.
IEEE has funded several education and intranet projects on the islands. It is time to take the dialogue to the next level.
Yo soy multicultural. Yo soy multicultural. Soplado en mi bicicleta y bajado en Pelican Bay, con esos churros al aire que todo el mundo quiere ver. Y mi madre dice: "Ay, TJ, ten cuidado por favor, no ves que ahí vienen los carros". Y soplado sigo yo para el embarcadero, y un coco piquero, y los tambuleros con los lobitos juegan ahí. Y para el otro lado estoy yo, salto en las grietas, y desde lo alto yo voy saltando y gritando voy, como venga la pagueño. Oh, 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 oh. La brisa fresca de este mar, mi gente buena, sonriente y va al pasar. Y el sol ardiente en Santa Cruz, la brisa fresca de este mar, mi gente buena, sonriente y va al pasar. Cuando bajé por Pelican Bay, Ecuador, ey, Santo Domingo y Guayaquil, y en Esmeralda, saludos pa' mi gente de Borbón, y en Atacame, por ahí por Cuenca, y en Santa Cruz, Galapagos naciente.